Welcome to the CrossCounsel podcast. We believe negative emotions shouldn't run your life. We invite you to take a deep dive into this challenging transformational journey that goes far beyond this podcast. Join Executive Director and expert facilitator Steve Freitag and me, John Crevillian, as we discuss how to deeply experience the love and truth of Jesus.
And yes, even Elle's own journey, while she wasn't in there as a client, she still had all these emotions and feelings. And that's the response that I'm getting from readers, is how much that they're able to identify with her and what she's felt and feeling. And, you know, I mean, like you said, we all deal with issues. We know what it feels like to feel worthless and feel like there's we don't matter. And that's one of the core things that Elle is dealing with.
Right.
Trying to find her purpose.
Right. So I was going to ask Steve, how many unwed mothers has he done ministry with? But I wasn't sure.
I don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
I mean, they could be anywhere. What I found out, because there was a period of time before I started doing that ministry at Mercy House where I'd been involved with human trafficking in Texas, wanting to minister to people and finding out that in the system, so to speak, that Christian-based counseling is not necessarily sought after. And so I was a little disappointed in that. And then I found out when I went to Mercy House, I encountered that in some of the girls there. So it was like God still brought the opportunity for me to help those kind of girls, you know, had been really abused, into some freedom. So they come from all different situations and all different reasons that they end up there. But so I imagine in following books that you're planning on writing that you might have some more stories of Elle and some of the other girls. I don't know. Can you give us a spoiler about that?
Actually, no, because it's not written. I haven't even started that yet.
You're just breathing a sigh of relief finally, because this one's published, right?
Right. But yeah, some of the characters will continue on, and because all the characters are fiction, of course, but there are a few that are based on people who I admire, who've made an impact in my life. And Mary, you are definitely one of them. Obviously, it's pretty clear to see that you're Kathy in the book. So, yeah, it's I did base a few characters on the real people. And Elle, obviously, that tells a lot of my story of dealing with miscarriage and just the grief from that. So, yeah, that was, there's a lot of truth wrapped up in this fiction.
Exactly. And I know Steve, Terry, and I have both, Terry has encouraged you and I both to write, which is something I'm really grateful for. Because Steve, you're writing a book as well.
Yeah, it's on pause, but I have actually built in more time this summer after the golf outing is over to dig back into it. So when I had the time set aside, felt like I made some decent progress. But yeah, I think I've written the book about 28 times already in my head. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Well, I can do a session for you to help you get it out there.
That's great.
All right. You all heard it. Okay.
Well, I just so appreciate that because I have thought in the past that I would write a book because the things that we learn are just so amazing being a part of CrossCounsel. But I don't think I ever would have moved forward on it, you know, without your encouragement. So it's been great having you to do that for us.
Yeah, I think even just the materials that you all have written for the
Mm,
curriculum that you're doing in the mentor groups and the
mm-hmm,
coaching, I think that's so valuable. I mean, for me, I learn by reading a lot
mm,
of the time. You know, people learn in different ways, and I think the
mm,
written word is it's so easily accessible. Of course, you know, today we've got video and podcasts and
mm-hmm,
all that stuff that's easily accessible as well, but there's still so much value in the written word and in making those into audio books as well. So yeah, there's a lot of
mm-hmm,
opportunity there. I've, I think, you know, writing for me is a fun process. I enjoy it, and but I did have to have sessions around it during the process.
yeah.
I remember one of those, Mary, you came over to my house to do a session for me because I was just, I was had pretty much had the book written, except I couldn't finish it off. It was just like
Mm,
that last piece, and
mm,
I remember it. The memory I went to was actually when I gave birth to my youngest son, and and where he was partially born, and I had to
mm.
give one more push to get him out, and so it was very very similar. So yeah,
That's
amazing
so
how
interesting.
yeah. Those memories tied to just about everything.
Wow. Well, I I have really enjoyed writing some of the training materials that we use at Cross Counsel, because being able to get your voice out there and to get out on paper, so to speak, even though it's an online course, just all the truths that God has taught us, and to see how that helps the light bulbs go on with other people and makes the learning process of the melt process, which is what we use, it makes it more understandable and simple for people. So I don't know that I would call it fun writing that, but it's very fulfilling. Let's put it that way. And you encouraged me to do that. So, yeah, I really appreciate that.
We recently sat down with a group of people who are fairly new to CrossCounsel. There was a common theme. While they found some results with traditional approaches, when they fully engaged in the melt process, there was simply no comparison. What God did in their hearts through the ministry of CrossCounsel is some of the most profound healing they've ever experienced. Help us share this healing with others. Become a monthly donor. We want to reach as many people with this message of hope as we possibly can. When you support CrossCounsel, you not only share the load of the ministry costs and the sessions, but you also help us provide content and that message of hope through the various platforms. We're so grateful to be doing this with you. Thanks for listening.
Sounds like a great book. It sounds really like it's been impacting like a lot of people, and I love seeing that. I love hearing about that. What would you say are like the takeaways that you want people in general to have after reading this?
Well, first of all, that you really can have an authentic personal relationship with Jesus because he loves you. And, you know, that's the main takeaway that I want my readers to come away with as they see Elle engaging in that person in that relationship.
Mm,
Um, And then also that you don't have to be stuck where you are. You don't have to be stuck in your grief or your issues or whatever it is that you're dealing with. Jesus came to set us free, not only from sin only, but
mm,
but also from the emotional baggage that we accumulate going through life.
Amen.
And that's really, you know, what it means to, I think, for me to be free indeed is, you know,
mhm.
that's truly free when you're not held back by those own things within ourselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I really did like how you captured just the relationship aspect of talking about a ministry like CrossCounsel. Terry, I just thought the way that Mary or, in the book, it's
Kathy.
Kathy. Yes. Okay. How she's just so, it's just so natural how it flows. And it's just not like you need to do this. It's just like the heart of what we have at CrossCounsel, because we think it's the heart of Jesus, this invitation. There's no pressure in the book, the way you write it. It is in the same way. So I really enjoyed reading it from that perspective as well.
Yeah. Well, you guys make it easy, just being able to, I think that's one of the things I love about this ministry is that it is so, I mean, it's like sitting down and talking to a friend and being able to really open your heart. Because there is no pressure and prodding, and because that's the whole core of it, right? It has to be your own will. You have to be willing to do that. So what was that? Those two words that you always did in your training, Mary: belief and choice.
Yes, right. Very important.
Yeah.
Yep. We make choices based on what we believe. And so we focus on people's beliefs and allowing the Holy Spirit to change those, because it changes choices that we make in life. Even choices to get ministry, choices to move toward Jesus and get freedom. So that's so important. I love to, just to tag on to what Steve was saying, that you talk about the resources that are available to people in the book. And these are real resources. Even though when someone's reading the book as a fiction novel, they may not think about that. You add at the end that the characters and scenarios are fictional, but the resources that are available are real. And then you give people that information, so someone reading the book who's been really in any situation, but particularly because the book is dealing with unwed mothers who are in crisis, that are needing some help. Because it deals with that, those ministries are connected to that kind of a crisis, and if they relate to that, there is help. So I think that's just so encouraging, because you do tend to feel all alone and isolated and desperate in that situation, and so there needs to be helping hands reaching out, and I'm so grateful that we get to be one of those. But this book really helps, I think, speaks to people about that.
Yes. Yeah. That was my hope, that others will see the impact that you all are making, and that the other ministries highlighted in the book, the impact that they're making, and they'll be prompted not only to reach out for help if they need it, but to be able to support you all in the important work that you're doing. And so, yes, just if I can get a chance to name them, there are Mercy House Ministries and Moms in Prayer, and Embrace Grace is one of them that we hadn't mentioned, but that's another great one that reaches out and helps single pregnant moms, and absolutely CrossCounsel.
So, Steve, did you cry at the end?
Do you want me to say yes?
Everybody. So Wayne, my husband Wayne, bawled like a baby. So yeah.
Well, I did. I did. But just was curious, because I definitely did, Terry. It was just so moving. You read the book all the way to the end, and it's very moving. It will touch people from every scenario, I think.
Well, I hope so. And, just to get back to the takeaways, John, one of the other one was that healing is being held out to you. And I want readers to understand that those resources are available.
Right.
And so many of people, me, you all, so many others, Jesus, of course, we're wanting to take their hand and help them embrace that healing. And then, of course, the last takeaway that is really important to me that people grasp is that we're here on this earth to bring others into the kingdom of God. That's our mission. That's our mandate from the lips of Jesus, to go and make disciples. And it's so tragic to me to see broken and wounded people that Satan has lied to and has told them that they're done. They can't do any, you don't matter. But that's a lie. And that's confining people to our various crutches and keeping us from our God-given mission. And so I desperately want to see people healed, set free, delivered, so they can get refocused on their mission and make an impact on the lives of others. And, you know, I'm 55 years old and I've just written my first novel. So you don't have to be young to have hope still. You can be getting over the hill and still getting back to what you're called to do.
Well, thanks, Terry. It's been great having you. And I just want to put in another plug for the book, Love Remains, by Terry. I'm not even going to pronounce your middle name, Harris. And you can buy it on Amazon. So I bought many copies. I plan to gift to many people, and actually some local churches too, you know, because we know that there are women in situations that really need some help and hope. So thanks for that, Terry.
Yeah, well, thank you. And the awesome thing also is that all proceeds will go to benefit Mercy House. So,
oh, that's great.
Yeah. And so the book is available on Amazon. You can also go to my website to connect with me. I would love to connect with anybody personally through my website. You can contact me. It's terrytamasheroharris.com. And
you're gonna have to spell that.
That'll take
John
a
will
lot
put
to
it.
remember.
Yeah, we'll
John
put in
will
all
put it in
your
notes.
we'll plug all your socials.
Yeah.
All right, good.
And what if I cried at other places in the book? Is that okay? Just limited to the end.
Well, you can redeem yourself then. Yes, of course.
I just don't want to give away any spoilers.
No, I certainly don't either. But
here's my top 3 places in Terry's book that made me cry. By Steve Freitag.
Yeah, it was so good.
Well, thanks for having me on here. It's been really fun to get to do this. This is my first podcast. I've never been on a podcast before.
It won't be the last, right?
You did great.
So thanks.
Of course. Thanks for joining us, honestly. It was great. This has been the CrossCounsel Podcast. Please remember to subscribe, rate, share with your friends, and look for us on social media. The world will become a much better place, and Jesus will be seen in a much better light the more we are transformed by his truth and love. We'll see you next time, everybody.